Well, I think this is where people can get really bogged down and then write down like, okay, I'm going to only eat 1,000 calories a day and I'm going to exercise for an hour and a half a day and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to, they can put too much down. So here's the encouragement. The encouragement is small goals. We've talked about this since we launched this podcast, but this is my goal, that my life's work is to encourage people to take small steps. And the more change you have to make, the smaller the step you need to take.
Welcome to Champions Mojo Weekly Podcast, where your hosts Kelly Pallas and Maria Parker share with you what it takes to be a champion. Kelly is a former Division I head swim coach, Olympic trials qualifier, and holds Masters World and National swimming records. And Maria holds world records in endurance cycling and was the overall women's winner of the world's toughest bike race, Race Across America. They'll be sharing their personal stories and wisdom, along with interviewing other champions to give you the tools you need for becoming a true champion in your own life. And now, your host, Kelly Pallas.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Champions Mojo podcast, where, as usual, I am hosting with Maria Parker. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Kelly. So glad to be talking to you today.
Yes, and Maria, we have a hot topic of how to lose the quarantine 10 or 10 pounds.
Yeah, I think it's really appropriate because we've all been stuck in our house, and a lot of us have felt stress or fear. A lot of us have been baking for the first time in many months or years. And so it's been really easy to have some extra weight creep up on us. And so today's show, we're hoping to, for those of us whose jeans are getting a little tight, and I'll volunteer to be one of those people because they are. Today's show is to help you get in the right spot to try to get back down to your good weight.
Yeah, eating for the reasons you said, and even as my husband calls me, ectomorphic old me who never gains weight. I don't want us to talk about weight per se.
Right. Yeah.
I want to talk about just kind of fitness and being more toned than more full of fat. And so even my little husband, of course we live in Florida and I'm in a bikini a lot around him. And even he kind of pushed his little finger into my belly the other day. It's like he's like, "Oh, you've been having some anxiety eating, honey." And I usually have a pretty flat stomach, but
that would for some people that would be grounds for divorce.
No, I mean, it was just his little way of saying, But I think this is a very timely topic, and one thing we have not shared with our listeners that I think we said it's time for us to
come out of the closet,
come out of the closet, and tell people that we have been studying to officially be health coaches, and we are about done. And so we've been working with clients, and this is something that has really come up, this comfort eating. And we are working with clients right now to take them through this how to lose the quarantine 10. And we have this great system that we thought we would share with everyone.
Yeah, I'm excited to share with everyone because I'm excited to share what I've learned because it's helped me a lot and it's helping my clients too. So this will be a great show for those people who just need a little bit of a good beginning.
Yes. So the thing that we think is very helpful when one is starting out. So let's say, you have your jeans are too tight. You don't like the way that your middle looks. You've been eating, what did we say the two comfort foods of this pandemic have been?
I don't know, but it's salty, crunchy, sweet, gooey for me.
Yes. So I think I've heard from quite a few people, and I read somewhere it's peanut M&Ms. And and potato chips.
No, Lay's ruffled potato chips.
and peanut M&Ms. So,
peanut, that's right.
Yeah. So those are the two. And we have right there, we have some good swap out foods. If you're eating potato chips, it may not sound as great initially, but that salty satisfaction that you can switch out are olives. Yeah. And if you're craving that chocolate sweet, there is a chocolate bar called the ChocZeros that are
Fabulous.
Really sweet, really chocolatey. They're like almond bark, 0 sugars. They're fabulous. So those would be 2 swap outs, which we can put in the show notes. But let's get started.
Yeah, let's go.
With our steps.
Okay, I'd like to start first. And I think one of the things that we've learned, and it just does so well, is when you're sitting down to try to make some plans for some changes in your life or things that may not be going well, one thing that you can do to really get you started on the right track is to think to yourself, what is going well? What's going well for me right now? What am I doing right?
Yes. So start with something positive. So let's say you're setting yourself up to lose this 10. So what's going right? What are you doing right with your health, your fitness, either your eating or your exercising? Because those are the 2 main factors in affecting your quarantine 10. So Maria, what's going well for you right now?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me that. Well, I think, for me, the quarantine and not eating out as much I think what's going well for me is that I'm getting new recipes. I'm kind of inspired to cook new stuff. So I would say sort of my interest in cooking is up a level, which I think is a great thing. It's a great way to start, sort of a new eating plan. What about you, Kelly? What's going well for you?
Yeah, I would say that even though it's not my first exercise of choice, I would say that because of the quarantine and having more time, I am actually doing more walking, more riding of my bike, more yoga, because I have a little more time, and also Mark's around to want to do things. So I think I'm actually probably burning more calories than maybe I normally would, or at least I'm getting outside. I think I'm getting outside more.
No, that's great. Yeah, I notice, a lot of people are getting outside more. You can't exercise in a gym. So the road in front of my house looks like a park. I mean, we constantly have people riding by and running by. So I think that's probably true for a lot of people. So first step, think about what's going well. And that'll get you in the right frame of mind as you begin setting goals and moving forward.
Yeah. And then the second step in this process is to state that desired goal, and it has to be those parameters of being very specific, having it be measurable, having stated in the positive, a time frame. We don't, it's not exactly a SMART goal, but it needs to have some parameters around it that you can identify with. And that would be, say, I want to lose, you don't even have to say 10 pounds, but I want my jeans to fit like they used to by whatever date seems reasonable to you, or specifically. Any other coaching on that one, Maria?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that when you set goals for yourself, they should not require anybody else to participate. In other words, you can't set a goal that my husband's going to lose 10 pounds. As much as you might like that or want that. So whatever it is, whatever goal you're setting for yourself, should be something that you have power over. And I really like the specificity of it, of a time frame, and clothes fitting better is better than pounds lost. I think too, and it's a positive. It's positively stated. So yeah, I think and it's helpful too if there's some sensory aspect to it. So imagining. Slipping into your clothes. I think one of my clients said that to me once. I want to just slip into them. And I think that the implication was that getting into their clothing was a little bit of a challenge because they were.
I love that. I love that. You just slip right in.
Yeah. So sensory, if you can use your senses around your goal setting, I think it's more powerful.
I like that. That's really great. Now this one is step number 3 in this process is you really have to get to what is your motivating factor. It's the why underneath the why underneath the why. So, Maria, if I were to ask you, why do you want to lose your your quarantine 10, or why do you want to slip into your jeans?
Yeah, that's good. So here's the process on that, and I'm going to just work through it, right now with you. So,
yeah.
Everybody wants to lose not everybody, but we talked about this, probably 90% of people in the United States wouldn't mind losing a little bit of weight. So So there's the first, for me, there's the obvious, like, well, I want my clothes to fit looser. But why do I care about my clothes fitting looser? Well, when I'm exercising, I want to feel light and strong. If I'm running or I'm cycling, that extra weight going up a hill or extra pounding on my knees, I know it's bad for me. So that's kind of a why under the why. But the real, for me, as I keep going deeper on this, I want to live a long and healthy life, or at least I want to live healthfully each day, I guess is a good way to put it. And making good choices about my food, and letting go of any extra fat that I don't need to live is a great way for me to feel like, this is the body I want to carry into my 90s.
I like that. I like that a lot, Maria. I'm working with a client right now that wants to be a youthful grandmother. And,
that's nice.
Be able to pick up her grandkids up and down and get down on the floor. And, it just feels so much better. One of my favorite sayings that I've had on the fridge on and off during my marriage to Mark is, nothing tastes as good as thin feels. And that's just that. I think Tony Robbins claims that, but I think it's just kind of common sense. And I ride a stationary bike with an air desk when I'm working at my computer. And I got to say that this little Pillsbury dough belly that I seem to have gotten, I when I lean forward to like tie my shoe on this recumbent bike that I'm riding while I'm working on my computer, I feel my little belly for the first time, and it feels gross. Not gross, but it's like uncomfortable. I'm not as flexible. I can't reach out as much, and it feels in the way, and it's tighter in my jeans. And so that is really a first for me, a very first. And so I'm right here with everybody that, this is something that's a big why for me, is comfort. Yeah. Just being comfortable in your body is so important.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I think that's a really nice and kind of a deep why. Because you wake up in your body and you carry it around with you all day, and it's like slipping into your clothes. You want to slip in there and feel good. And one of the things that can help you identify we call it the big motivating factor. If this is the really important thing, is on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this? And if it's not an 8, 9, or 10, you probably aren't motivated enough to do it.
Yes, that's a great point. And then if you're not motivated enough in these early stages, you just, it may turn into 20. But I think if you catch it earlier, it's a lot easier than later. But yeah, I agree that you need to have a motivating factor. So Maria, what's our fourth step? Unless you have something else. Were you going to say something?
I would emphasize that spending plenty of time on your motivating factor and maybe listing them out, writing them out, is going to be really helpful for you to remember. For me, one of the things I do, Zwift, which is an online riding game, a bicycle riding game, and I race now once a week. And the only way they tell, your speed is based on your power per your body weight. So one of my whys is like, I want to go faster in these races, and if one way is to produce more power, another way is to lose a little bit of weight. So that's just one of those things. And if I write a big list of all these things, when one motivating factor isn't enough, another might be. So I think reminding yourself of the why is super important. But anyway, to get to the number 4, and I think this is really it was new for me, and I love it. It's creating what we call an anchor. And Kelly, will you explain what an anchor is?
Yes, and I think the anchor ties in great to your motivating factors. So an anchor is just something that reminds you and connects you and grounds you to your goal. So, for example, if you attach a picture of you in a bikini when you were, at a weight that you liked or a fitness level that you liked, then that could be, you could put that picture up somewhere that would motivate you to say, that's what I want to look like, or a dress that you were in, or if you have a favorite song, like the theme song to Rocky climbing up the stairs of the, it can be a song. It could be a piece of jewelry that reminds you of something that makes you happy, but you tie it to that. So it doesn't have to have ever been tied to it before, but you tie it to that goal now.
Yeah. And again, it should be sensory. So for me, one of my goals has always been and continues to be to drink plenty of water. And I created an anchor. I have a beautiful mug that just every time I look at the mug, it makes me happy. And that mug is my reminder. It's my anchor that I want it to always be filled with hot tea or water or something, so that I'm always drinking. So, I love little sayings. I have clients who have created beautiful little inspirational sayings that they put on their mirror. The song is great. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's a smell, something that reminds you every day, because you forget, like, why am I doing this? This is hard. Why am I doing this? So the anchor is a sensory experience that gets deeper into your neurons than just, a list of motivating factors.
Yeah, it could be a screensaver on your phone or a screensaver on your computer, something like that. So yeah, I love the anchoring. It's really kind of the fun part of goal setting.
Yeah, and it's a strong. If you do it right, it helps you in those times, when you would forget. So if 3:00 in the afternoon is your tough time, like it is for a lot of people, your anchor should be something that you see or feel or smell or do or look at 3:00 in the afternoon. So, if that's the time when you reach for the peanut M&Ms, then, maybe that's, you go for you go listen to your song or whatever it is.
That's a good one.
Do you have an example of an anchor for you, Kelly?
I use a lot of screensavers for anchors on goals that I have. So, if I'm thinking about something, I'll make a picture of it and make a screensaver. Also, I think vision boards are good anchors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always keep a vision board around, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And positive words, like I have a little small, it's like a 12 by 12 whiteboard that I'll put beautiful words and beautiful names of people that inspire me up there. That's
a good anchor. Maybe somebody out there who is living the kind of life in one aspect that you would like to emulate. That's a great anchor. Yeah, anchors. I think they're really important. I really like I said, it's kind of a new concept. I think I've done it vaguely, but never as specifically since I've learned to become a health coach. Oh, and you're showing me your vision board. Oh, it's beautiful. Hope, kindness, serenity, gratitude. There's a picture of a bicycle, and there's a star and a heart. It's beautiful. Yeah, that makes me feel good.
See the swimmers?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's excellent.
So those are people that inspire me. So see, on my swimming icon, I have all the names of my swimming friends that are on there. And then my biker community, I have like all the biking. And then in the heart, see all the family names?
Yes, I love it.
Look, Maria's right in the middle of that.
Kelly. And at the top, it says love and joy, which are great. They're great words to start with.
Yeah, I love that. That really, that's just my little vision board, and it's pretty easy. So that's kind of the fun step in this little process. And then there's one more step before you launch into the actions. Do you want to share that final?
Yeah, I think this is just something that I hadn't really thought about before I learned it in health coaching. And we call it clearing the clutter. So when you're starting something new, whenever you're starting something new, whatever it is, you can't just add it to your life. You need to find a space for it. And that space can be psychological or it can be physical or both, and probably should be both. So one thing that you can do if you're trying to set a goal of losing weight is to find some area in your life that needs clearing. And I think lots of times that might be a closet or a drawer. I think one of my clients said that they were going to put all of their workout gear, kind of organize it in, in one place and go through it and throw away the stuff that they didn't like. And, so, it can be clearing your calendar for perhaps you need extra time to do food prep, so if you have to clear out an hour every day to do food prep to have good food, that's an idea for clearing the clutter. But I think this is a really strong foundation to stand on when you're trying to set and achieve new goals. What do you think, Kelly?
Yes, clearing the clutter is huge, and it sounds a lot like cleaning out your closet, but like you just said, it's also your emotional clutter. If you just have baggage around, hey, I don't like to eat carrots or I don't like to exercise, then that might be a clutter that you need to clear out. Or and then it could be literal, obviously, if you don't want to eat peanut M&Ms and Lay's potato chips, get them out of the pantry, clear out the pantry. But I think you explained that really well, that before you embark on, losing the quarantine 10 or any goal, you do need to clear some clutter out time-wise, physically, emotionally, environmentally, but find out what has held you back in the past and get rid of that.
Yeah. And it makes you feel, well, I shouldn't say you, it makes me feel good to organize something, in fact, I just walked into my son's house and they had cleared their little mudroom out. And I mean, it was never bad, but it was just totally cleared out. And, I was asking them about that and they were just saying, yeah, we wanted to get ready for spring and put away all the kind of the winter stuff and just feel like we're starting fresh there. And you could see that the energy it had given them, to go out, to be outside more, to be doing the spring stuff. So I think it's, for me, the physical act of actually clearing, cleaning, organizing gives me a lot of energy and is a great launching pad for doing anything, especially starting something that might seem challenging.
Yes, I love it. So these are the steps, and then we launch into action steps. But what's going well, you state your desired goals, you find your motivating factor, you anchor it to something, you clear the clutter, and then you write out 2 or 3 things that you're initially going to do to start this loss during, of your quarantine 10. So what would be some examples of some action steps?
Well, I think this is where people can get really bogged down and then write down like, okay, I'm going to only eat 1,000 calories a day and I'm going to exercise for an hour and a half a day and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to, they can put too much down. So here's the encouragement. The encouragement is small goals. We've talked about this since we launched this podcast, but this is my goal, that my life's work is to encourage people to take small steps. And the more change you have to make, the smaller the step you need to take. My daughter says, the bigger the hole, the smaller the goal. So my suggestion for me, my action steps might be as simple as trying to not snack between lunch and dinner. Or here's another one. Quit eating after 6 o'clock or 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Something that I know is manageable and not, I'm not trying to change my whole life here. I'm for this one, and I'm going to just do this like this week or maybe for 2 weeks. I'm going to try one change. And I think that the action steps have to be something that you feel, you can do. We talk about inevitable success. You want to have success. And so make the action step small. And maybe it's just, I'm going to try to get my 64 ounces of water in every day. I'm going to, create my anchor is going to be my beautiful pitcher with lemons in it. And I'm going to fill that up in the morning and I'm going to drink all day. And that's going to keep me full and keep me from snacking sometimes when I'm probably just thirsty. So I love the idea of creating something really manageable. What's your thoughts on that, Kelly?
Definitely. I've always heard my whole life that, the more that somebody needs to change, the smaller the steps need to be. So I think small action steps and maybe just one that is related to why have you gained this, weight over this past period? Is it eating a whole bag of potato chips? Maybe you want to just put out one serving size and just eat one serving of potato chips and not 8 servings of potato chips. So they can be small steps, but we need some little action steps to kick this off. And we would love to know how you guys are receiving this. If it's working for you, we're going to be doing these things with you as we go and keeping you posted. And I think these 6 steps, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 6 things there. And I think those are really the way to approach this newfound little weight gain that I think many, many Americans have gotten.
Yeah, I think, if you can climb these very easy to approach rungs, then you will have success.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, we are at hello@championsmojo.com. We'd love to hear how you are doing during or how you did during the quarantine, and if you're coming out and what you're doing with your exercising and eating, and let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know. We want to encourage you. And we need the encouragement ourselves. So send any encouragement our way. Kelly, so great to talk to you. I love you. Thanks so much for setting this conversation up.
Yeah. Love you too, Maria. Talk to you next time.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This week's quote of the week: nothing tastes as good as thin feels.
You've been listening to the Champions Mojo podcast with host Kelly Palace and Maria Parker. Champions Mojo is produced by Cabra Media, and a new episode debuts every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Follow Champions Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @Champions Mojo.